her JD in 1975, and in 1979 she earned her MLS from San Jose State University. Mary Hood has worked in the SCU Law Library for more than 46 years, and she's worked in just about every position that ever existed there. In 1970, she started as a library assistant acquisitions. Then she became reference acquisitions librarian. In 1978, she moved to head of public services, and in 1987 to associate director and head of public services. I mean, we knew a good thing when we had it, right? And in 2007, she became executive law librarian and has also served since 2011 as law library director. During that time, Mary has developed a very professional and dedicated staff in the library. She's had a huge impact, growing the staff tremendously, and her influence has been felt outside the law library as well within the law school. She's been instrumental in a number of our hires and committees and programs, really shaped the life of the law school. She's been active beyond the law school. I know she has many friends here today from the university library system, and we're so grateful for that. She's also been very active in the Northern California Association of Law Libraries. She was a founding member, president, and a board member, and has been active in NoCal for a long time. Additionally, she's been active in the California State Bar, the American Association of Law Libraries, and the ABA. So she's really, her tentacles go very broad, very deep. And as part of the centennial celebration a few years ago, she worked for over 2 years to compile a real archive, a real wonderful record of the scholarship of the law faculty over the past century. So Mary, not only have you been so important to kind of shaping our future and who we've become, but you've also been our historian and our archivist and our memory. And for that, we're very grateful. She's won numerous awards, but I think when I think of Mary, it's really with a sense of her full engagement in the life of the law school and the university. She has contributed in so many ways. I know she'll contribute and continue to be involved. There's a scholarship in honor of her family, and I know she's just so much a part of our family. When I think about the law school, she's just been woven into the fabric of the place for 46 years. And thank you, Mary, for kind of being with us with so much intellect, so much grace, and so much goodwill and good cheer. We are very grateful. Thank you. For a minute before I turn the podium over to, I believe it's Juliet Yaffe, our Senior Assistant Dean for External Relations, who'll speak next, but we do have a little gift for you. If you haven't if you haven't signed the book, please do. We'll put it out maybe at the table in the back and allow everybody to sign it. Julia, where's... Thank you, Julia. We will continue our program. Thank you. I'm delighted to be able to say a few words about Mary. We go way back. We actually went to a Santa Clara football game together with her husband Michael. So you know that was quite a long time ago. For a few years, I didn't see a lot of Mary, because you know our librarians are kind of behind their protective wall there. But I did get to know her by some other titles. Lisa went through a couple of the job titles she's had, but in my mind, she had a couple other titles. She was the protector and the defender of the library. I discovered this, that she was not happy if I brought a photographer into the library without notifying her and notifying the students that they might be photographed. I also discovered that she did not like it if I brought a videographer into the library. And they might want to take pictures of students. She also demanded early on that people use lids on their coffee mugs.
She also discouraged pizza from being delivered late at night to study carrels. But fortunately, I was basically trainable. I now give plenty of notice if I'm bringing media people into the library. And the students have been pretty trainable too. And she's managed to keep a very professional atmosphere within the library. Mary has added to the professionalism of the library in so many ways, as Dean Kuppenberg mentioned. She's been really a mainstay of all the changes that have taken place throughout the years of the libraries. It's kept up with the institution itself. As we're just starting to go through a self-study process, I know that Mary was a main part of the self-study the library has done as part of the whole ABA visit process, which is just a ton of work in itself. Mary's played an important part as part of the institutional memory of the institution too. And unlike me, she's actually cataloged things so people can find these memories. As the dean mentioned, she did this wonderful book as part of our centennial. She still has a few copies that she'll autograph. But it's really wonderful. I think the fact that she's really taken the time to recognize people that have ever taught at this institution. And it's that type of support for the faculty and for scholarship and for the students that use our library that's really made the mark Mary's made the mark. This week it's been interesting. There's a AALS, Association of American Law School listserv for the section of women in legal education. And this week there's been a far-ranging discussion of teaching while being female. And it's gone, I think Pat's listened in on some of it, some other people. But part of the string this week went off on the role that librarians play inside an institution. At so many schools, the librarian is a woman. And frequently they play a quiet role of leadership, really helping to mold an institution from the inside and help to mold the culture of an institution. And I think that's exactly the role that Mary has played, even though she hasn't always been quiet. This discussion is these quiet librarians. I haven't found my librarians here completely quiet. But they have been effective, and I think Mary's a great example of that, of how a librarian can play such an important part. We're very fortunate for everything that Mary's done for the institution, and I feel very fortunate to have had Mary in my life for all these years. So, Mary, thank you, and best wishes where you go in the future. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Julia. And next we'll have Father Koda.
I'm an old guy, and Mary and I go back a really, really long way. Many, many memories. Well, the first of them was an evening class in community property. And I told this tale often enough. I would come to class in the evening, and Mary would hack and cough. I thought she was terrified of me, as some students on occasion were. Well, she claims it wasn't. It was simply her nervousness and the atmosphere. I witnessed her wedding. I guess it was 1974, May 26th, Mary, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And when she graduated, a year later, I baptized her two children, David and Michelle, and I've been honored to be a small part of their family, with a prayer and a hope that God be with them. Worked not with her in the library, but she worked for us in so many ways. There is a tale of two Marys, Mary Emery in one office and Mary Hood in the other. And Mary Emery just had a messy office. Mary Hood had battlements. I would walk in, you want a place to sit down, we had to clear off a chair. She eventually cleared off the front. Yes, nobody ever went there. She eventually cleared off the front of that desk. Well, today, I found this little political advertisement. Do you know all the tricks in Mary's bag? Well, this is a different Mary, and it's one of the worst practices of political negativity I've ever seen. But she had a lot of tricks in that bag. And Lisa spoke of that, Julia did. Someone who knew how to help the students, and indeed help the faculty. She grew into an efficient and kind and cheery person to deal with in the library, becoming a leader, and a quiet leader, but also someone that we could love very deeply. So with the end of the litany, we and I will miss her. God bless you, Mary, and Michael, too.
Thank you, Father Yoda. And next we'll have Bob Peterson.
I hope this is the roast part. Is this the roast part?
Well, Mary, it has been quite a run. I mean, as has been said before, I think that you are the person who's been on the staff or faculty longer than me, and the only one that's left in that capacity.
Yes.
You came to the university as a student, and you stuck. You came to breakfast and stayed for dinner.
Where's dessert?
I think longer than the run of Oklahoma, or even the mousetrap in London. I think, I'm not so sure. And during that time, you have managed to avoid the curse of the attorney librarian. You know, what do you get when you cross a lawyer with a librarian? You get all the information you want, you just can't understand it. And sometimes you get information that you don't want. Recently, she unearthed a number of pictures of me, which I understand now have gone into my permanent file here. And the ones of the 1979 orientation were particularly revealing. And I don't know what else is filed away in her office, or, as we call it, her woman cave. You know, she's really has had to evolve quite a bit as a librarian, particularly when she's trying to explain the library to our incoming students. You know, what are those things on the shelves? And she says, well, those are iPads made out of trees. Oh, cool. You can check them out. Really? Hey, dudes, come on over here and check them out. Yeah. So we really are going to miss Mary. We might not miss some of the secrets that are going to leave with her. We're probably happy enough to see those go. And by the way, Mary, you know those books that I checked out in 1975? I really am going to return them. Honest. So congratulations, Mary. We really are going to miss you.
Thanks, Bob. And next we'll have Don Holden.
Thanks, Mary. You've been great.
You're welcome.
I'm not going to let that slide. You see, 47 years. We worked together for 10 years, and I thought, what a magnificent working relationship. And it turns out I'm just a piker on the scale of this over 47 years. And all the more remarkable because I think when Mary started, she was destined for a more contemplative lifestyle, and one that she chose to move away from the hurly-burly life of a modern law school library. And this law school has been so much the better because of your continued presence and working. So I want to join our other speakers in thanking you for 47 years, and certainly from my perspective, 10 great years when we worked together during some difficult times. And also to congratulate you on this run and for all that's ahead for you and Mike in the coming years. Mary is a consummate professional. I think you know that. She is a wonderful team player. I know that from the last ABA inspection. And those sort of things are of great importance. When we were preparing for the centennial, Mary came to we had a group that planned for our activities, and she waited for a few meetings, and finally she proposed this idea of a digest of all of the faculty publications, 100 years. And all I can think about is, I wonder what the hell that's going to look like. The work product was fabulous. It was impressive, it was comprehensive, almost encyclopedic, and I think that it did so much to really amplify on that century of service and education that our law school has provided. So many contributions. Our introduction into the digital age, I think in large part, was walked through by Mary. I know that you were the true law librarian in that office, and therefore was of considerable importance to the other Mary, to Mary Emery, and anticipating these things that we needed to do to move our library's professional services, research services forward, especially as the faculty became more demanding and interested in service and support for their research and scholarship. So you led a great team, and you led it very well. Now for the downsides. As somebody's mentioned, I mean, those offices were the most inhospitable place that I, in 40-some years in legal education, have found. So you walk in, the room's kind of cockeyed, right? Like several rooms in the library. Wouldn't have anything to do with 3 or 4 different editions on it. And so you go into one and you freeze to death. Mary Emery's office was set at a crisp 32 degrees. And that's when it's warm outside. So you leave that office, and I would walk next door to kind of defrost a little bit, and I would stand there, and I felt like my father's career army officer, and I felt like a PFC in front of the general. And I'm standing there because there's absolutely no place to sit. And the chairs that are there are filled with stuff. And I remember a former colleague of mine in another school, tax guy, that may explain it. He used to have all of this stuff. He had movable chairs and like portable carts, and he had all this stuff on there. And I asked him one time, I said, well, where do your students sit when they come in there? He said, what makes you think I want to have the students sit down? And I said, well, there's a thought, keeps them kind of short, crisp. So our interactions in Mary's office, at least Mary Hood's office, were in the 4 or 5 minute area before my sciatica started to go and I had to sit down someplace. So all kidding aside, I want to personally thank you for all that you've done for your law school in so many ways. And thank you for your service, your contributions. They were unending, they were consummately professional, and this law school and all of us here benefited from them greatly. So thank you, and enjoy these years ahead. Stay out of bars.
Thanks, Don. And we do have one more piece of business. And so, Mary, because we're going to miss you so much, and because you put up with us for so very long, the Law Library would like to give you a gift. So can you come up here, please? So in selecting a gift, obviously we wanted to give Mary something that was going to remind her of us. But beyond that, now we go back to the librarian. So beyond that, we wanted to hopefully give you something that would allow us to be with you no matter where you are, just the same way that you're going to be with us no matter where we are. So, so for the library, I would like to present you with a signed photograph of the whole gang.
So one of the things that I told the committee when they asked me what they wanted, what I wanted to have done, I said, just keep it simple. People can talk as long as I don't have to give a speech. I hate talking in front of groups. One-on-one, no problem. That's why I love the reference desk. But I want to thank you so much. This means, I didn't want to talk. It means so much to me that each and every one of you came. And having worked here at Santa Clara has been just the most wonderful thing that's in my life, besides my family, who couldn't come. And I am so going to miss not just the institution of Santa Clara, but each and every one of you, because you have been such a strong part of my life, and you're my family. You're not just my coworkers. And I can't thank you enough, and I'm going to stop.
Okay, that's it for the program. Everyone enjoy yourself.
If I could just say one more, I want to just thank Mary Sue Crawford and the whole committee. This is beautiful. Thank you so much. And if you have not seen these slides, there's some wonderful ones. So be sure to pay attention. We're going to put the slides on again. Eat, enjoy, and thanks for being here.